Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. Final video of the week. We're taking a look at the American League. We're going to preview all three divisions, tell you who Brian and I like to win it, and who's going to come in second, and then look at the wild cards. Brian, American League East, this one I probably had the most trouble with. I got Baltimore on top winning the division. I don't know where you're at on this one. But it was back and forth between Baltimore and Boston. Boston, you know, they always got the money and, you know, they'll spend and get the team there. 2 years ago, they come out of nowhere and win the World Series, and then, you know, last year, the regression. But I look at the rest of the division, and other than Toronto, I don't see who else could come in here and take it. The Yankees, I don't like the Yankees this year. I know everybody every year, you know, the Yankees are the Yankees, the name, but I don't like them here.
I also like Baltimore in this division. I think people are just passing off on what they did last year. And you take a look at what they did with some of their players. You know, Chris Davis, the whole situation now, what he was suspended for, he's now able to take. So now he's back in a comfortable position there. They've got some nice pitchers in the minor leagues, upper levels. Gaussman, I think, will make a big difference for Baltimore this year. Second place, I guess I would have to go with Boston. I like the depth from the outfield, obviously. I think they're going to end up trading some of those guys, but I hate that pitching staff. But you don't like the Yankees. The more I look into this Yankees team, I'm starting to like the Yankees. Some of the guys they traded for in the offseason, not big names, but I think they're going to have some success. I don't particularly like the everyday lineup because the Yankees still have a lot of older guys that are still injury prone. But you know, their over-unders basically 82 wins. I'm starting to buy into the Yankees a little bit. I think they may be able to beat the over-under.
What's your thoughts on A-Rod?
He's looked better than what anybody thought. That's a team right now. They've got like 3 or 4 guys that they're so old. They have more DHs in New York than they have for the rest of the league. I mean, they got like 4 guys on that team that, in reality, you'd rather have them as a DH than having to play out in the field, and that's the concern. But you know, when you have older guys, they tend to get injured, so I think it'll play itself out. But I like the Yankees pitching staff, and they've got some guys in the minors that they may call up later on in the season.
All right, let's go to your division, American League Central. Am I going to return the favor? You picked my Pittsburgh Pirates. I actually am going to pick your Cleveland Indians here. If that pitching staff stays healthy, you got, you know, Salazar with, you know, young arm that's got a worlds of talent, but keeping him healthy has been an issue.
I agree. I like Cleveland. They sent Salazar down to the minors. He's just one of those guys. He's got a ton of talent. He'll be back up. I don't think he's going to be down there for long. I don't like the back end of the rotation. You know, when you've got guys that have proven that they're not major league starters at the number 5 position, then you've got some problems. But I do like, you know, House really looked good last year. Carrasco found his groove. When he came from St. Louis, he was highly touted. They got some guys in the regular rotation in the outfield. Most people have written off Michael Bourne, but he's gone. He's been working out with some track guys, so he's going to be back to stealing. He had problems with his hamstrings in the past. I like Cleveland. I think Cleveland's a team to beat in this division. Not a big Detroit fan. I'm not a big White Sox fan. They made some adjustments. They made some trades in the offseason. But I think Cleveland's a team to beat in this division.
I have, by default, Detroit in the second spot in here. I just, you know, I don't like what they did with the pitching staff. You know, don't like that. But this is a team that, until the next one comes and knocks you off the perch, I still think they're like St. Louis. They've been there for so long in this division. I know a lot of people are going to look at the run Kansas City had last year, but we both talked about them this year. We expect a regression on them. And then the White Sox are that X-factor team. I think just like the National League Central, I think the AL Central is going to be very competitive as far as, you know, the division race goes. But I got Cleveland on top, Detroit by default in second.
All right.
Go to out west. And I think we agree here. We're asking a team that hasn't won for a while to get back into the winner's circle and, you know, knock the other 2 off. But Seattle's got the team and the lineup and the pitching to get the job done this year. I'm going to go ahead and put them there. do you think they're the team to win the division?
I do. I think Seattle's the best team in that division. They've got great pitching. The younger pitchers, you take a look at who's got good young pitching. Seattle has that for starters. And I like the lineup in Seattle. They're getting some guys back from injury. I think Seattle's the team right now. Out West is the best team. But I also like the Angels, and I also like the A's. I think the A's have gone under the radar. Nobody's talked much about them. I like the moves they made in the offseason. I don't know if we'll get both wild cards out of the West, but I could see possibly all three teams here, Oakland, the Angels, and Seattle playing in the postseason.
Well, I have the Angels as my second spot, and it's more so just I think the offense will carry the team, with Trout and everybody. The A's, they're just like their across the bay counterparts in the National League. There's no team that gets more out of what they have than the A's. I mean, this is an organization that doesn't have a lot of money, but every year they're there. They overachieve. But, I just, on paper, I see a step back from what they've been the last few years. And I just didn't like the moves that, Billy Beane, for everything he's done great, one of the best minds in baseball. He went against all of his principles at the end of last year at the trade deadline, trying to, he danced with the devil in my...
He did, and we saw what happened, and I think he's learned his lesson from that. I did not like those trades either, but they got some good players back, and they got some guys that have come into camp that nobody's even given a second thought to, have now earned spots in that rotation, and they got some good young players on that Oakland team. And they're going to surprise some people. I think they're going to be a good moneymaker for people who are betting.
That's what I was just going to say. Betting on a day-to-day, picking the spots, I think they're going to be a good team. I just don't think they're going to get over the other two teams in that division.
All right, so who are your wild cards in the...
Wild cards in this one, I'm going to go with the Angels as one of the wild cards, and it's going to come down to me between Boston and Detroit. If the A's surprise, I could say agree, because I think Texas is going to be so bad. There's going to be a lot of wins picked up there. And then the other teams, the bottom of the divisions, whenever you're playing, they're going to pick it up. So it could come all of them out there.
I'll take the Angels, and I will take Boston, because Boston will spend the money as the season goes on. And as I mentioned...
If they're close late in the season, they're going to go make the moves to try to get there.
And the outfielders right now, they're so deep at outfield. But Oakland's going to be right in it. Who wins the American League pennant?
I just don't know. I hate to take a team, Seattle, to go all the way when they haven't been relevant, for a while, to make it all the way. Like the Pirates, I could see them getting to the championship, series, National League or American League, but I just don't see them getting into the World Series. I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
I'm looking at a value standpoint, and like Washington and LA in the National League, I think Seattle is going to win more games than anybody in the American League. But I'm looking for value. And just like I did for the National League, I'm going to go with a long shot here, and I'm going to take the Cleveland Indians. My Cleveland Indians to face your Pittsburgh Pirates in the World Series. And if that happens, we will be nowhere near Las Vegas, because we're going to all those games.
Yeah, there will be no videos that week if that matchup happens. And I forget, Pittsburgh got a new... I saw somebody tweeted it out. Looked very interesting, a new sandwich in Pittsburgh this year.
I knew that had to be coming.
Yep, it was coming. All right, he's Bryan Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo. I hope you enjoyed these. Guys, we're going to take a week off on the videos because the NBA, they're in that final week of the season, resting a lot of players. We're going to be back for the start of the NBA playoffs in 2 weeks. So 1 week off, no videos. We'll be back the following week. He's Bryan Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Hope you enjoyed them, and good luck with all of your wagers. See you next week.